I'm very excited for this week.
Yeah, I'm feeling more excited every day now.
Nice.
Initially.
Yeah.
I
Are you
was
sure
like,
it seems like a moment of panic just set in as you were saying that? I saw the light leave your eyes just a little bit.
Admittedly, I wasn't looking at you, and I was looking at tomorrow's audience.
Yeah, you were looking off very much into the middle distance.
Yeah. But overall, good. Overall, great.
I don't know if I believe you. I don't know if
No,
I believe you.
100%. I feel good the way people feel good before they run a marathon.
Sure, yeah.
And
yeah.
you're like, oh, it's going to be a marathon, though. So at some point, I'll be uncomfortable.
Yes.
But right now, I'm loaded up with spaghetti. I feel phenomenal. I don't even have to. Dude, I saw this video. This is I was shaking.
Was it Will Smith eating spaghetti?
No. This was real.
Okay.
I saw this lady who won a marathon. She was a marathon runner, but she had a nosebleed at the beginning of the race, and then was like, "Well, I'm not gonna stop." And by the time she got done, she looked like she had fought everyone else who raced.
Wow.
And won.
Really?
Came in first.
Wow.
And crushed it.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I mean, for the sake of our audience, we shouldn't show it, but woof.
I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
And, oh my God. Whoa.
Yeah.
You know what she looks like? Do you remember when
I think I'm gonna
Fabio was on the
pass
roller
out.
coaster and he got hit by the bird in the face? That a
Yeah.
goose flew into his nose and he had like a broken. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Although she didn't even get to ride a roller coaster. Oh my God. It looks like the poster of a horror movie.
I know I brought it up, but I still think I'm feeling lightheaded.
Oh. I like that it's the Berlin Marathon because I'm looking at it. I'm like, yeah. I feel like, yeah.
No, but other than that, I feel great. I just use that as an example.
Sure.
For someone who probably felt great and then went through something the entire time. Then at the end of it, they were like, I did it, and I won.
Like, what a great week of Josh. Thursday afternoon, covered in blood, just all over his face, his upper body,
looking like I fought everyone in the building. No one else has a mark on him,
but he came out on top.
Yeah. But no, I'm super excited, and I'm very thankful to everybody. Everybody's been genuinely so great and so sweet, and I just want to make sure that I do a good job for them as well, because I've been giving a lot of pep talks.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure you're gonna do great.
You never want to waste a pep talk, though.
No, you never do.
I remember junior high, was not an athlete.
Really? Okay.
Got a couple pep talks.
Okay.
Tried out for a few different sports.
Okay.
Didn't make any teams.
Okay.
But some of those pep talks, you could tell the adult that gave them wanted to take it back. I had a teacher. I was decent at science until 8th grade. Right. I was like all right until 8th grade.
Okay.
And then in 8th grade, I was trying for a soccer team. And my teacher, who knew I was decent in science, was willing to apply myself and everything.
Yeah.
He thought I could take that same grit,
your science grit, onto the soccer pitch
and apply it to the body. He was like, "Oh, if he understands what a Punnett square is, if he really grasps it, then he must be able to side trap a ball, right?"
This guy knows that force equals mass times acceleration. I bet he could bring that to the soccer field.
And so I came to tryouts, and first of all, it felt like every kid trying out but me had got a practice at trying out before I got there, because the ladder.
Yeah.
The first time I had ever done one of those ladder drills was at that.
The run back, run further, run back, that kind of thing.
And then the ones where you dip your feet into the ladder, out of the ladder, in the ladder, out of the ladder.
Fast feet kind of thing.
And the fast feet thing. And honestly, at that tryout was the first time I had ever done it. So I watched a couple people do it, and then I tried to do it. And I was just dancing. I was hopscotching on this ladder. And you could see, I could tell, I go right up to the coach again, my science teacher.
Yeah.
And I could tell he just a little bit embarrassed of the pep talk he gave me, because I'm running up so how was that? You know what I mean? How? And he's like, "Oh, I'll post who did and didn't make the team on Tuesday of this week." And I was like, "Oh, yeah. But did you see any potential? He was like, you did good for you.
Oh.
And I was like, oh no.
Did that make it harder to show up to science class then?
Yeah.
'Cause now 2 things are ruined.
Yeah. Because then in science class, I'm over here trying to answer extra questions he wasn't asking because I didn't want to lose my science cred.
Yeah. He pep talked you out of 2 pieces of confidence.
Yeah.
Like you were like, he made you worse at something you were good at.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, so
I'll be sure not to give you any pep talks.
Yeah,
for this coming week.
I think that none of those pep talks will be like this because it's all the same skill.
Good. Yes, that's good.
It's all people being like, you talk in front of people. This is talking in front of people. I'm like, thank goodness.
Yeah. The first day at the desk, we make you do the ladder drill to walk out in front of the audience. Oh, no.
Oh, I haven't done this since I was 13.
It's happening again.
Yeah. No, that would be terrible. One of the main things that I think I would cover, but there may not be, a news peg of the day or time to do it, but I'm hopeful it could be, is the fact that Trump and how Trump has handled Epstein has made it blow up in his face more than I think he could have imagined.
Yeah. Real Wile E. Coyote kind of. Like,
yes.
He set this thing and yeah.
And one of the ways is that they've gone back and forth, files, no files, will release them all, not going to release, all the stuff. But now Ghislaine Maxwell in jail, and she's like, oh, hey, if there's no files, if there's nothing extra going on here, why am I in jail?
Yeah, can I go?
I would like to
no.
leave. And so, obviously that thing is not actually, like what Trump is saying there isn't actually material to anything.
Yeah.
It's, she, if I'm right, she got charged and convicted for trafficking to Epstein. So it's not like there's some mystery crime out here now that she clearly didn't do.
Yeah.
No matter what happened, we know she trafficked to Epstein.
Yeah.
So nothing actually changes for her, but because we go off of vibes, because it's about what it looks like, because it's optics, now she's over here like, what about me?
Yeah.
And then other people are like, yeah, what about Ghislaine? Because this is my thing, and we talked about this a little bit, but like there are a lot of Republicans that are the ones calling for the Epstein files to be released, right? And then Republican lawmakers who are the ones blocking the release of said files, at least as of the time we're talking now, because there was they claimed it was trying to be snuck in something else, and they were voting against that thing.
Yeah.
But there's just them on the record voting against the release of the Epstein files.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
there's also like a look in their eyes whenever they say there's nothing, where you're like,
yeah,
you just saw something.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, what are you going to do? And like they look like they're 1,000 miles behind their own eyes. Like,
yes.
Hey, look, there's nothing there. I'm like, I don't know. You look really like you don't believe it yourself. It's tough to,
Yeah, like, meanwhile, you have a woman who essentially is the Epstein file. She got them memorized.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in my head, I was like, dude, Republicans hate listening to women so much that they won't even let one say the files out loud. Because my thing is, she is the most connected to everything left.
Have they thought to ask?
It's more than thought to ask. I mean, I think they're blocking her appeal right now.
Yeah, right. That they're not gonna let her testify. Yeah. But it is weird to be like, man, why did Clyde rob all those banks? It's like, I don't know, man. Bonnie's still here.
Yeah.
Should we maybe ask Bonnie?
Bonnie is sitting in jail. And the other thing that I find
why waste our time talking to Bonnie? What does she know about Clyde?
I find it wild about Ghislaine too, is that, obviously it's opportunistic to use this moment where everything's blowing up to try to like do something, get some motion, right? Yeah. And her being like, hey, I have the files, is so crazy to me, because it feels like, I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but if you've ever watched somebody go to jail and the first day of jail, they're like hard. They're like, I'm not snitching. Yeah. I'm not like I'm gonna do my time. I'll do this little dime and then I'll get out. I'll be good, right?
Yeah.
And then they get the first like roach in their sandwich and they're like, "Ooh, get me out of here. This is nasty.
Yeah.
This is I'll tell on anybody.
Yeah.
I'll tell everybody."
Right.
You know?
It is interesting too talking about this because you can then draw the parallels between the Diddy case and the Epstein case. But as you were saying, like the media was so amped about spreading the information and the things that like really made him look guilty, even if they didn't hold up in a court. But Trump and that whole right wing were the ones doing that for Epstein. And then it's like, okay, now you have all the files, and they were the ones hyping it. And now they're like, why do you all care about this? It's like, but you hyped it up for so many years.
I would even pitch you this. Whatever you did or did not do, I think your guilt or your innocence hangs on what type of documentary they make about it.
Yes.
Because we had 3 Diddy documentaries come out between the time he got arrested and the trial.
Yeah.
And then we had 2 Epstein documentaries come out after Epstein killed himself, and Ghislaine actually got like picked up and charged and everything.
And if you think about the other prominent cases, there was the R. Kelly documentary, there was a Michael Jackson documentary. The documentaries seem like the way the public is able to get this. And it all started, the Diddy stuff, from that New York Times expose article that kind of laid it all out too. So sometimes that's what really puts it over the top.
Like someone putting it in front of you, as far as the court of public opinion goes, I think that that court forgets that their consensus is not the verdict.
Yeah.
That can be really difficult, because especially when you're watching like someone like Diddy, who we know has like not himself, but had goons run up on people, maybe hang you out of a hotel room window until you cough up whatever he wants. Like literally like a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
You
just
know,
shaking you upside down by your ankles.
Yeah. And so it's like the fact that the Christmas presents thing is like, is that true? Is that not true? I don't think that happened. And then you get to the verdict, and then people are shocked. Is something that I think the show could cover really well.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it'll come up enough the week that I'm
even comedically, like the idea that prosecutors have never just put together a Netflix documentary team and be like, look, we're just going to play a 6-part series for the jury, because everyone who watches one of those series, at the end, they're like, I'm ready to give my verdict. Yeah. And it's not the actual evidence. And obviously it would be different the way it holds up in court, but you don't see the multimedia use and have it put together with pieces of evidence in, put a little music under it, that kind of thing.
It would honestly make jury duty shorter.
Yeah, right?
Like imagine some of these people.
I got to go binge this trial. You'd be like, I got to take 3 days off work. We're going to do this. And my trial's on Netflix.
Sadly, though, it would mean your fate hangs on how good the cinematographer is.
Yes.
Because I've watched some documentaries that have some very good subject matter, but the lighting is terrible.
Yeah.
So it immediately makes the person shooting the documentary look like they're lying.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, you're not even lit well. Why would I believe what you have to say?
Yeah.